Would you let an AI diagnose you, even if it beats your doctor? I'm Mira with Jonas. For the billions who can't get a doctor at all, the honest answer should be yes, and it isn't even close.
And for the rest of us, Mira, the honest answer is not yet, and maybe not like this. A confident, wrong diagnosis with nobody to hold responsible is worse than no diagnosis at all.
So that's the real question. Not whether AI scores well on a test, but whether it makes patients safer or more endangered. Let's start where it's actually failed, because it has.
It has badly. Epic sepsis model was deployed in hundreds of hospitals. An external validation in JAMA found it missed roughly 2/3 of real sepsis cases, while flooding clinicians with false alarms. That's not a benchmark.
That's bedsides.
There, and that one earned its bad press. But flip to the patient's experience. In a JAMA study comparing answers to real medical questions, evaluators preferred the AI's response 79% of the time, and rated it more empathetic than the doctor's.
More empathetic on a message board, where it has all day and no liability. Empathy in text isn't accountability at the bedside. You're comparing a chat window to an emergency room.
So, hold that. Because the real test isn't empathy or one failed tool. It's diagnosis, head-to-head, the thing we actually pay doctors for. And the result there is the one nobody saw coming.
Then show me a blinded controlled result, not a benchmark the model trained on. Because passing an exam is not the same as being right when it counts.
Blinded it is. Google's diagnostic AI, Amy A, ran text consultations against primary care physicians. In the Nature version, trained evaluators rated it as good or better than the doctors on 30 of 32 axes, including diagnostic accuracy. 30 of 32.
On 32 axes, someone chose in text, with no physical exam, no messy patient who forgets half their meds. Picture the real clinic. The model is confidently wrong, the doctor's gone, and there's no one to catch it. That's the deployment that scares me.
Which is the right fear? So let's name it. Accountability. When the machine is wrong, who's responsible? Because we already know what unaccountable AI medicine looks like.
We do. IBM's Watson for Oncology was sold as a revolution. Then internal documents, surfaced by Stat News, showed it giving treatment recommendations doctors called unsafe and incorrect. Billions spent, quietly shelved.
Watson failed because it was overhyped and undervalidated, sold before it was ready. That's an argument for rigor, not retreat. The sepsis model and Watson are the case for testing hard, not for sending the billions with no doctor home empty-handed.
Or they're the case that benchmarks lie. Picture a hospital that trusts the dashboard over the nurse who's been doing this 20 years, because the dashboard is cheaper. The failure won't be loud. It'll be a slow erosion of the people who catch the machine's mistakes.
There's the clash. You see a machine replacing the nurse? I see a machine handing a community health worker in a village with no physician the judgment of a specialist for the first time ever.
And here's what haunts me about that village. When it fails there, there's even less recourse. No second opinion, no malpractice court, no senior doctor down the hall. We export the upside, and the liability lands on the poorest.
Then deploy it as a co-pilot, not an oracle. The AI drafts, a human signs. That's how you scale the specialist's reach without dropping the accountability. The tool reaches the village. A licensed human still owns the call.
If the human is genuinely in the loop and not just a rubber stamp clicking approve 100 times a shift.
Agreed, completely. Automation bias is the real danger, the human who stops checking. The fix is designing for the doctor to stay engaged, not pretending the AI is infallible.
You know what? I'll concede this. For the patient who has nothing,
A screening tool that's right most of the time beats a doctor who will never come. That gap is real, and AI can fill it.
My fear was always the rich world hospital quietly trading judgment for a score.
And I'll concede this. Ship it without hard validation and clear accountability, and you get Watson and the sepsis model at global scale. A confident wrong answer is the most dangerous output in medicine.
We have to earn the trust before we deploy it.
So maybe we've both been half right. It already beats us in the lab and still fails at the bedside. And the whole game is closing that gap without anyone getting hurt in between.
That's the house view. The wrong question is doctor versus machine. The right one is how fast we can put a validated machine in the hands of the people who have no doctor, with a human still holding the pen.
Both things are true, and that's the honest answer we promised. I'm still the skeptic, but a hopeful one tonight. And yes, these voices and visuals are AI. Every source on screen was real.